for me, I think a lot of us don't actually have a way to organize our content, organize our time, and make sure that we're actually doing what we need to do when it comes to our branding and marketing. So I've made sure that this presentation covers off some of the marketing elements, but also, as you might have seen via the sign up form when you signed up, there's also aspects around AI and also brand building, and of course looking at how you can manage your time better using different tools and resources. So I'm going to jump right into it. I have found out what some of you already do, which is fantastic. And as you know, this is all around marketing, but you probably are aware, some of you, that my background is branding and marketing, and I've been doing branding and marketing now for over 28 years. It'll be 28 years this year. And so I really want to go outside of the kind of normal textbook marketing that you might receive, and really give you some ideas to think about in terms of how you can make your branding and marketing even better in the month of January and onwards. Because 2025, as I'm sure you're going to be aware, is going to go just as fast as 2024 did. So we want to make sure that you are clear on what it is you're doing and the best way in which you can actually do that. So what I'm going to do is just jump right into the session for you. And the first thing I really wanted to just, I guess, again, just go over is what we're going to cover in this session, which is what to consider first in 2025, and also some of the recommended AI tools that you might want to consider, and also essentials for your branding, which I believe will save quite a lot of you time and money, as well as looking at topics like how to attract and retain customers, something that I feel a lot of you might actually be missing from your branding and marketing, and then also looking at ways to build and monetize your brand in 2025 by being visible, and also by making sure that you're showing up in front of the right customers and clients. So the first thing I want to kind of understand from those of you that are on now is, are you already making money in your business? Have you already got a way to make money in your business? So if you have, please do let me know. And if you haven't, that's fine. That probably is why you're here. For those of you that are already making money in your business, that's fantastic. You'll probably pick up some nuggets as we go along. And I do know also that some of you have already purchased the brand and marketing planner, which is here. And those of you that have it will already know that there are lots of gems in here, and it's packed with ideas for content, as well as campaign ideas, and information around how to plan weekly and monthly, as well as getting yourself in order and being more consistent and focused. So I really just want to make sure that in this session you get your questions answered, but also you get some tips that you can go away with. And the branding and kind of marketing side of things for me is very important, because as some of you might know, I've been doing branding and marketing now for over 28 years, but I built my own brand on just £100, right? So when I started my business, I was made redundant, and then I actually went into starting my own business on £100, and I took what I would call a bit of a risk, because when I started my business, I didn't know much about running a business. I knew lots about branding and marketing, but I didn't actually know much about running a business. And so for me, I've kind of taught myself the kind of business running side of things as the years have gone on. And I've been in business now since 2013, but my expertise has spanned over 28 years. And 16 of those years are, years that I've spent working as an employee, working for employers that have actually paid me to do their campaigns. So I guess why I'm sharing that with you is really to give you some peace of mind that the tips I'm going to share today are actually going to be useful for you if you're wanting to improve what you're doing when it comes to branding and marketing, but also understand some of the ways in which you can improve your branding and marketing as well if you're already doing branding and marketing. Okay, so in terms of my kind of lifestyle, as I said, I'm a busy mum of four, and you can see on the screen some of my children and my am I allowed to call her my daughter-in-law? I think I don't think she might be calling her my daughter-in-law. And I do really enjoy doing what I do, but balancing also what I do, because obviously, as I'm sure you might know, whether you've got pets or loved ones, or you run multiple businesses, or maybe you even work in a full-time job, running a business is not easy. And so it's really important to kind of get to grips with what it is you're doing in your business, but also when you're doing it, and most importantly, why. And I think for a lot of us, when we're doing branding and marketing, we do get engrossed in consuming lots of content and not always doing the work. I don't know if any of you would agree with that. We take in lots of information, like some of you might watch this webinar today and go away and think, right, I'm going to go away and execute these ideas. But some of you might actually watch this webinar and think, right, I'm going to go and watch some more webinars, or I'm going to go and do a course, or I'm going to go and, read that ebook. And what I want you to do today is really think about what you want to do after you watch this particular session with me, what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. So the first thing I really want to understand is, for those of you that have already told me what your business is, what is the main reason, or what was the main reason for you thinking, oh, I might join this today, I might join this webinar? What was the main reason why you joined? And you can let me know that privately via the chat. I would love to know the main reason why you joined. You can just privately talk to me in the chat. And whilst you're typing that in to let me know, I want to just kind of give you some peace of mind that I'm not just here as a kind of show up and self-taught brand and marketing expert. I am someone that's been trusted by a number of brands. And also, even since working in my own business, I've been hired by a number of companies as well to teach their communities and also to empower and engage with their staff, their employees, etc. So in that sense, it's really powerful, because what I'm sharing with you today is quite a lot of the information that I'm already sharing with people that may or may not be familiar with my brand. But if you aren't familiar with my brand, I have got on screen here, hopefully you can see that on screen, some of the brands I've worked with. And as some of you may know, I've just recently been nominated for another award. And my agency won an award back in the summer, which was officially announced in November. So we won SME Agency of the Year from SME Business Magazine. And that was quite impressive for us, because as an agency, we've never won an award. It's usually been me winning awards as V Roberts, the entrepreneur. So as I'm just waiting for some of you to come in and tell me via the chat what it is you wanted to get out of the session, I'm going to just start off by saying as well that over the last few years, I have delivered single-handedly and also with my agency over 245 projects. So when it comes to understanding trends and understanding the different ways in which to market your business, not only have we worked across a number of sectors, we've also worked with individuals, companies, and also teams to help people to build strategies, to build brands, and also to help people to monetize their brands. And I'm talking about everyday people that are working 9 to 5s that might actually need help and support to actually get their brands more out there and find ways to monetize their expertise. So some of you might be watching and not actually have a full-time business yet, and some of you may be watching and may not even really understand how to make money from your brands. What I want you to consider first is what it is you feel you're an expert at and what it is that makes you unique. That's what I want you to consider first. Okay, what is it that makes you an expert and what is it that makes you unique? Now, you can either interact with me via the chat, or if you prefer, you can just make mental notes on your own. When you consider what it is that makes you an expert, this is really how you can kind of get spin-offs of different ways to monetize your brand. And in 2025, when you're looking at ways to monetize your brand using online and offline marketing, what's important is that you've given some thought to who you are as a brand and how you want to show up, and also whether or not you're a personal or business brand, and the different ways in which you can actually monetize your brand as well. Now, some of you may be aware, as I said earlier, I'm an author, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach and consultant, and I also do other things for other organizations where I get paid via contracts as well. But if you're an existing brand or an existing company, one of the first things you should be doing in 2025, one of the first things after you've thought about, who you are, what you bring to the table, who your brand is, etc., is actually completing a complete review of your past few months. And if you've only been in business for a few weeks, I'd also recommend that you look at the past few weeks as well. So really look at and understand who it is you are as a brand, or who it is you want to show up as, whether you're a brand, a company, a person, a team, a group, but also make sure you've thought about a review. And there are different ways in which you can review your brand. There are also different ways in which you can review your marketing tactics. But for those of you that are new to branding and marketing, it's very important that you think about reviewing what you've done so far, reviewing what you've actually done so far. All right. So if you have not reviewed what you've done so far, that is the first thing you want to do after you've thought about what it is you're actually doing at the moment and who you want to show up as. All right. So make sure you've given some thought to who you are and who you want to show up as, and also review what you're doing. Now, if anyone doesn't know how to do a review, you can let me know in the chat and I can give you some tips at the end. But you definitely want to be giving yourself time to review. All right. Time to review is really, really important. The other thing is, it doesn't need to be selling every month, but I would like you to think about what you might be promoting either this month or next month or even in quarter one. What are you thinking about promoting this month? And you can let me know that in the chat as well if you've had a thought about that already. What is it you are thinking about promoting this month? Is it a product? Is it a service? Is it a package? Are you doing pre-orders of something that's coming out? What is it you're actually going to be doing in terms of your promotion? And what tactics might you use to promote? These are things that I discuss on my YouTube channel, and I will touch on some of these things today as well. Some of the things you may not already have heard from me are going to be discussed today. But I really want you to think about what you're promoting, because again, sometimes we've got lots of things that we're doing. We've got lots of products and services, but we're not always thinking about how we can focus on a particular product or service. And if you're like me and you've got a book, a course, an event, then you've also got to look at different ways in which to promote these different things that you're doing, right? So you've got to think about, if you've got a book, who's going to read the book? Where are you going to promote that book, online and offline? If you do events, you may have a completely different audience. And the same for if you're doing coaching or consulting, right? And if you're making up skincare and hair care products or stationery products, etc., if you're doing a number of things, if you're good at multitasking, go ahead, do your different promo if you want to. But my advice is always to try, especially if you're not experienced in it, to try and focus on what you're going to promote either week on week or month on month. And that's actually one of the reasons why within the planner, we do look at campaign planning as a whole across the year, but also we look at monthly planning, and we also look at weekly planning as well. So you can really nail down what it is you're going to be doing, and you don't have to be fixed on a particular product or service at any given time of the year. You just know already when you open that planner, or when you're, however you choose to work, if you don't choose to have a planner, or you don't plan in the way that I'm planning here, you can actually just know that, okay, in January, I'm promoting this. But what you need to have is goals. When you've decided what you're promoting, you need to have thought about your goals. You need to have really thought about what it is you're going to be doing in terms of targets. And I know that quite a lot of business owners don't really give much thought to setting targets. I don't know why. I think a lot of people kind of get put off by giving themselves an objective or goal to work towards. But what I will say to you is, if you've never worked with a goal, 2025 is the perfect time to start. Because what it means is you have a direction that you're working in that will actually help you to achieve what you need in terms of your goals. If you say you want to sell 20 units or 20 seats on a program or 20 tickets to an event or course that you're doing, then you've got something you're working towards. So that makes you become more intentional, or at least it should do. How many of us have ever gone into a supermarket without a shopping list and come out with items we didn't even think about? Some of us might have even done that over the festive season. We go into the store, no list whatsoever, and we're literally just picking up lots of things, random things along the way. It is no different when you're running a business. I have to say, if you're running a business and you don't have a guideline or a way to kind of navigate what you're doing, or that list of things that you want to achieve, or the goals that you want to achieve by the end of your shopping session, your supermarket sweep, then you're going to end up picking up things you don't need. And I think for 2024, a lot of you as business owners may have done that. A lot of you may have done courses, bought books, attended events, and even done workshops that were not actually relevant to where you're trying to go. So in considering first, think about who you are as a brand, person, team, company, etc. But also make sure you set some realistic and measurable marketing goals, because that's really, really important. It will really help you to understand what you want to do first, or maybe even the ordering in which you're going to be doing things. And then I want you to think about what success looks like for you. So when you set your goals, give some thought to, okay, by the end of January or by the end of March, this is what I would have wanted to achieve. This is what I would have wanted to have got from doing all of this marketing activity. Because the other thing a lot of us don't actually think about is success looks different to me, to you, to other people, right? Your success marker might be something as simple as being able to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. It may not even be a financial goal. So make sure you've qualified what success looks like to you, okay? And also giving yourself some deadlines to achieve, or at least work towards achieving those successful outcomes, okay? When you're writing your marketing plan, be really clear. What does success look like to you? Not to anyone else, to you. And then from there, when do you want to achieve those goals by? Yeah, really, really important. Because as I said, a lot of us don't work with goals. A lot of us don't really think about, okay, if I achieve this, actually, I'd be quite satisfied. Or if I got this particular result, I'd be happy with that. A lot of us don't really think like that. We just plow in and do all of the tactics, all of the marketing. And then at the end, when the campaign, if it's a campaign you're building, is finished, that's when you start monitoring. But having sales goals and being clear on what you're doing when it comes to selling can actually really make or break a campaign, because as you're going along, you can hold yourself accountable to attaining those goals, but also you can actually look at, okay, at the end of, the second week of Jan, I didn't get any sales in. So what can I do differently in terms of my marketing? What formats can I use differently? What content can I use differently? What text or words or even images can I do differently to help me attain those goals? That is really, really, really important. And the reason why I was touching on deadlines is because when you are marketing planning, you've got to have time management. You can let me know now in the chat, if you're watching now live, whether or not you work with deadlines and whether or not you manage your time. Because I know that one of the things that people love in my planner is that they're able to literally block out time in their diary each week or each month and have a focus. But not just that, they're able to see how they're using their time as well. Because when you have a time log, or when you actually measure how effectively you're using your time, what happens is you're able to look at, okay, I've done X, Y, Z, and actually I didn't get any return on investment. I didn't actually get any sales. I didn't get any inquiries. So you're able to monitor as you go along. And then you can actually tweak the way in which you're using your time, or you can change some of the activities you're doing to ensure that you do start working towards using your time more effectively. So if you have a team, that's fantastic. Yeah. But if you don't have a team, time management is very, very key. So there are lots of different tools you can use to manage your time, and you may already be aware of them. But if you're not already using these particular tools, it's definitely worthwhile looking into them so that you can see how you are actually using tools, what's giving you return on investment, and also what you might want to do differently. Yeah, you can share in the chat if you're using tools at the moment and if you're finding any of those tools particularly helpful. And as part of your kind of review, I guess you want to be thinking as well about how much time and money you spent on your branding or marketing in the last 12 months. And some of us have no idea because we don't monitor. And actually, when you're doing marketing planning, what's important is that you've thought about this, because it helps you to plan for the forthcoming months. And it also helps you to think about what you might do differently in the next quarter or in the next 12 months. So if you haven't already done that, I would definitely recommend you look at that as well. How much time or money did you spend on branding or marketing activities in the last 12 months? Now, I'm going to open up the chat so that you can share with me, if you know already, how much money or time roughly do you think, how many hours do you think you accumulated in terms of marketing? And I'm not talking about social media posts and going online and scrolling through other people's feeds. I'm talking about how much time do you think you spent online or offline actually doing marketing activities, what you would consider marketing, and how much money roughly? And if you can't give me a 12-month figure, I would love to know if you can share at least a 3-month figure. Just want to see something. And the reason I'm asking this is because for me, it's very important that we understand how we're actually using our resources. Some of us don't really have that much time or money, right? Some of us don't actually have that much time or money. And what we're doing is we're repeating tactics that aren't actually working, which is absolutely crazy. Some of us have rolled into 2025 without really thinking that much about how we're going to do things differently to how we did things in 2024. And that's why I want to draw your attention to this. How did you use your time and money in 2024? Did you see any return on investment? Now, I'm going to touch on some branding essentials. As I said, this is like a whistle-stop tour, but I want to make sure I cover off some of the key things that I believe that you need to know as we go into 2025. And as I said, I'm sharing this from a viewpoint of someone who's been doing branding or marketing for over 28 years this year. And running my own business, also, I've learned lots of new things along the way. And I've also invested in courses and workshops and programs myself in the last few years that have definitely helped me. As some of my coaching community have seen, they've really helped me as well in terms of my branding too and my marketing. So I never believed that I know everything. There's always room to learn something new. And so when we think about how much you spent on terms of your branding or marketing, I want you to think about some of these branding essentials. The first thing is, if you're online, you're spending time online, how much time are you spending online, and how much of your content online is actually branded? And I mean branded in terms of when someone sees your content, they can see straight away that it's you, or when they go to your bio is optimized. They already know what it is you're doing. They are very clear on who you are as a brand. And it's very obvious what it is you're selling in that moment. When you look at your last 9 posts on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, is it clear? Is your brand clearly communicating what it is you do? Have a think about that. And if it's not, just write it down as an action point. It's just something you can take away. And do look at your last 9 posts, because they will reveal quite a lot to you. Apart from your bio, which I know a lot of gurus will tell you to optimize and make sure you've got your clickable link, and make sure you've got information in there about what you do. Remember also, it's about the visual identity of your brand. And I'm aware of a lot of brands that literally rolled into 2025 without really giving much thought to the visual identity. So whether you're showing up online or offline, try to give yourself a visual identity. And in terms of doing this visually online, and I know some of you have already done this, which is fantastic, make sure you think about how you're showing up with the colors, the assets, your logo, any symbols you're using, so that it's very obvious. Anytime someone's scrolling through the feed, they probably know it's you. Whether it's your face that they see that they recognize, or whether it's words that you use or a particular font that you use, they will know it's you. And I want to draw your attention to something as well. A lot of us in 2025 will not be clear. We'll be doing business, but we're not actually entirely clear what our unique selling points are, or what your extra value proposition is. And I go into this a bit more within my planner and also on my coaching groups. Some of us need to really step back and think about how we're showing up as brands and what it is we're doing in terms of being authentic, but also in terms of making ourselves memorable and actually having a long-lasting brand that's got a good reputation. So brand credibility and people understanding what you do as a brand is really, really key. I've used here the example of an umbrella only because I know that on a day like today, that's probably an object that many of us, if you're in the UK, can resonate with. You already know what an umbrella looks like. You may even have an umbrella next to you. You may even be using an umbrella later today, and this particular example might come to mind. When you think about umbrellas, and I want you to think about this afterwards in terms of your brand as well, there are all kinds of different sizes of umbrellas and all different umbrellas that have different functionalities. Some are push-up, some are automatic where you just push the button, some are J handle, some are handled where you just hold straight, some have got the grippy bits where you can literally fit your whole hand around it, right? Some need storage, some come with a storage case, some are really long, like golfing umbrellas. There are all different kinds of functionalities of umbrellas. And people will buy umbrellas for different reasons. They want one to fit in their handbag. They want one to fit in their clutch bag. They want one to fit in their laptop case. There are going to be different benefits depending on what type of product or service you have. And the reason I'm using the example of an umbrella is because even if you've got a service and not a physical, tangible item, it's your job as a business owner to understand the attributes of your brand and why somebody would even want to engage with you in the first place, what you literally bring to the table for them. So when you look at your brand, whether you're a wellness consultant, whether you're doing massage, whether you're someone who does courses, whether you're a fitness expert, whether you're a baker, there are going to be different aspects of your brand that are going to resonate with your ideal client. So you need to understand who your ideal client is when you are building your brand and when you are promoting your brand, more importantly. Another example, cars. Most of us drive cars or know someone that drives cars. Most of us have been in a car. Even if you don't have a license, you've been in a vehicle. So you know that there's certain types of cars that when you sit in them, they make you feel real good. You got the heated seat, right? You got the sunroof, you got the glass roof above your head. There's lots of different features that will distinguish, a car, one car or brand over another. And again, when you're thinking about your brand, it's very important you understand, just like with the car, what is it you bring to the table? What is someone going to say ooh or ah about? How are you going to make the brand experience different? I was in a Range Rover this weekend, literally for maybe about an hour. Personally, I'm not into Range Rovers, but I will share with you that I can see what the fuss is about, right? And there are different brands of cars and there are different experiences you'll get when you get in a car, and there'll be different prices associated with it. So I'm sharing this to say, when you're marketing your product, I want you to think like a car. If you feel that you show up as a Skoda, or you show up as a beat up car that's, you know, in a showroom with lots of other beat up cars that's like £200, then you're going to attract a certain type of client. Right? I hope the penny drops with this one. If you decide to show up like that because at the moment that's how you want to show up, there's nothing wrong with that. But you've got to understand there's levels to this. Okay? If you decide to show up as a Porsche, maybe you don't even do any advertising or marketing. How many of you have ever seen a Porsche ad inside a magazine? Not me. Or maybe it's the magazines I'm reading. Some brands don't even need to advertise because they know their target audience. Right? And they market themselves in a certain way. If you're looking at yourself as a brand, you've got to have a certain position in the market or understand where you're going to show up and how you're going to position yourself. And part of that is about your brand identity. Part of that is about how you look on paper. Part of that is about how you might even look in a photo, to be quite frank. But this is all down to you and how you want to build your brand and how you want to promote it. So I've used two examples there, cars and umbrellas. And I hope one of those are relevant to someone in the room, because it's really important that you understand that it doesn't matter how many other photographers there are. It doesn't matter how many other therapists there are. It doesn't matter how many other marketing gurus or coaches there are that do business. Actually, if you understand the needs of your customers and why they buy, and if you understand what motivates them, maybe why they may even buy in that particular part of the buying cycle. In other words, they're ready to pay now. They've been on your page for a long time and they're ready to pay, but you've never made an offer. Or they're new to your page, but actually someone's recommended them to you. Or they're new to your page and they're just learning a little bit more about you, and you know, maybe a year from now, maybe 2 weeks from now, then they'll decide to buy once you've made an offer. You have to understand when you're doing marketing who's in your list, who's on your pages, who's coming to your events, who's buying your products. You have to make time to understand these people. There's no point just building an email list and then marketing to everyone. I said this recently in one of my YouTube videos. You've got to be able to segment your list when you're doing marketing. You've got to be able to identify your target audiences, plural, because you will have different types of audiences that you need to connect with. So you have to understand why they buy. You have to understand their interests. And you also have to understand their needs and motivations. And I must say, out of all of those three, they're all just as important as each other. But when you understand things like interest, as an example, it helps you when you're doing your marketing plan to know where to put your marketing advert, as an example, or to know which events to market your brand at, as an example. It also helps if you understand someone's needs and motivation, that actually when you're, you know, out there doing your promotion and you're doing your, you know, copywriting, or you're writing down information for people, you can talk their language because you know what they need. You've actually taken time to go through their questions or your most frequently asked questions, or even people's comments on your post. So you understand what it is that people are looking for. You understand why they buy, right? You understand what it is they need. And this is important when you're doing your marketing. So make sure you understand, if you've got a big customer list or you've got a massive database, there's nothing wrong with having hundreds and thousands in your mailing list or having lots of subscribers. But do take some time this year to actually look through who your subscribers and your viewers are, what they're saying to you, what they're asking you, because actually you're at an advantage. Once you start to understand these things, it helps you to navigate things like copywriting, marketing spend, and even tactics to use. Yeah. So make sure you give some thought to these areas. Also, when you're thinking about your customers, I spoke already about their behaviors, but do look at things like, you know, where they buy. Some people are not buying on Instagram, but your brand is constantly on Instagram. Your ideal customers may not even be on Instagram. They might be on LinkedIn, but you're not going to know that until you look at your analytics or you do some research on your customers. Some of us spend a lot of time online with our products and services, and actually it would be far quicker to get off of Facebook and TikTok and just shoot one email to a list of about 100 people. You may even find you make money quicker that way too. Some of us are going out to lots and lots of different events, traveling all over the globe with our products, setting up, you know, exhibition stalls and all kinds of stuff. And actually, when you get home, you've not made one penny. And that's because you've not necessarily done the research correctly to make sure that your audience are in the room, or because the event is not an ideal fit for you. Right, and I can see some of you nodding, and this is a regular occurrence. These are complaints that people give me all the time. Oh, I went along to this event and my people weren't in the room, or I went along to this event and I spent £700 on a stand and I didn't get one lead. Let me tell you, if that is the case and you're spending big money like that and you're not getting leads, there's probably a lot more to it than just being at the wrong event. You probably haven't even got a lead making machine behind your stand, or on your stand for people to be making inquiries and for you to be collecting data and getting people to opt into your list, etc. But it's very important that you don't just stick to social media this year. There's nothing wrong with doing it if it's working for you. I'm not here saying to you, don't do social media. If it's working, please continue. But there are definitely benefits of using social media alongside other marketing tactics. Again, some of these I'm going to touch on briefly in this session. And I'm also going to share as well some tips around how you can actually use AI as well to save time and improve your planning process as well. So look at things like location. Look at things like trends. I don't know how many of you are doing this already, but trends is actually quite a big deal as well. If you're not already looking at consumer trends, why people buy, questions people might be asking, there are different tools you can use online to do that. There are different tools you can use online to find these answers. Actually, there are two or three that I would recommend. BuzzSumo, which I'll put in the chat. BuzzSumo. I'll just put the chat on so you can see. And also Reddit. I'm just going to put these in here. And also Answer the Public. These are three tools that you can use to actually find information, gather information, find out what people are researching online. And there's another really good one as well, which I always share with my clients, which I will share with some of you. And I'm going to read through some of the chat in a moment. You can actually simply go onto YouTube or Google and type in, or whatever your search engine is, and type in a question. So if you're a photographer, I don't know, you might be wanting to know, what are the latest types of shots, or what's the best type of camera, anything. As you type that question in, I don't know how many of you have noticed this, but additional words come up underneath what you're typing. So you might type in how to bake a cake. And when you type in how to bake a cake, what you see underneath are everything else people have been searching for recently underneath that search bar. Where you're typing in how to bake a cake, it might say how to bake a cake for a wedding, how to bake a cake with nuts, how to bake a cake that's 7-inch. It's going to give you all these different search tools. And actually, that's an indication of what other people are searching for in your particular theme or industry, which may actually give you ideas and inspiration for more of your marketing activities or content. So that's another thing you can do when you want to find out more about your customers or your industry. Aside from trends, aside from looking at their behaviors and why they buy, aside from looking at detailed reports, there are lots of things you can do which are what I would call quick wins to really help you to navigate what you're doing and give you more of an idea and some insight as well into what's popular and what's not. So I'm just going to read through the chat very quickly, and then I'm going to get onto brand experience, which is the last point I want to talk to you about in terms of branding. So someone says they haven't spent any money on branding. That's fine. Or marketing. That's fine. Someone else said zilch. Someone says time. I need to do better with using time. I use Pomodoro. Yes, Pomodoro is definitely a good tool and technique that you can use. I talk about that on the brand and marketing planner page on Instagram. So if you're not already on the Instagram page for brand and marketing planner, that's all one word, you can go and connect there, and I'll be sharing lots more new planning tips for 2025. And also some AI tips there as well for 2025 coming up. Someone says, I'll be using the planner to do that. Excellent. Someone says, my alert service for event planning and also venue research and wedding planning and consultations and travel planning. Fantastic. So you're clearly doing some kind of research, which is great. Someone says that they are promoting their new brands, their logo, their offers, and a retreat. Fantastic. Yeah, I'll definitely share some tips on how to review. No worries, I'll do that. I will definitely do that for you before the end of this particular live. And just looking at why some of you are here. Excellent. Someone says to show growth within myself and my business and learn how I can do it to help other women to succeed with their health and well-being. Someone says that they created a separate business page on LinkedIn. Haven't marketed themselves before, but looking to rebrand this year. Fantastic. So let me know, to the lady that left this message, this response, let me know if you've done any marketing whatsoever, even by word of mouth. I know you said you've never done any before. Is that just paid marketing, or is that actual marketing as in you're doing the tactics yourself? Because word of mouth is also a form of marketing. It's a tactic that you might not actually do yourself, but it is a marketing, a method of marketing. All right, cool. Let's go back to the, thank you for those comments. Excellent. All right, so yeah, the brand experience is also really, really important. So when we look at brand experience, the reason why I talk about brand experience is how your brand makes people feel is actually really, really key to your marketing. Now, you might notice when I do my marketing, I speak very informal. I have a particular tone of voice for my marketing. And actually, that puts me at an advantage sometimes because people will say, V, when I see you, you're exactly how you are online. Like there's no difference to how you are online, other than the fact that sometimes I'll scrub up a bit more polished. I might look a little bit different visually, but the same way I speak here is how I would speak online. When I type, you know, it's me. It's not AI, it's me. I do my own emails. I do everything myself. And this is not to shun or criticize anyone that is using AI for writing their posts and doing their emails, because of course you can do that. But when I speak about authenticity as a brand, if you're going to use things like ChatGPT to do your marketing, it's just to be mindful that sometimes that can take away from the authenticity. If you're using it for inspiration or first draft of something, and then you want to use it to kind of edit, you know, and make it into your own tone of voice, then that is also very different to you just copying and pasting. But personally, I like to sit down and literally type out everything. And that's why you might have noticed that certainly in the last year, I have not really been doing that much on my own pages, because we have a whole social media marketing agency that we run where we post for clients. And as some of you will be aware, I have got my planner, which we're pushing at the moment. I've also got, aside from the planner, I've also got a coaching group, and I also do events and training courses as well. So for me, my brand experience is authentic. It's very much me speaking, me typing. I don't hire anyone else to do that for me. And when we look at brand experience, it's not just about how you sound on paper and your tone of voice. It's also about, you know, when people interact with your brand, have you always got an out of office on? When people interact with your brand, do they get the real you? Yeah. When they watch one of your videos, what are you saying to them at the start and the end? Is there a particular greeting that you use? Is there a particular sign off? Is there a particular call to action that you even use? And by that, I mean at the end of your video or the end of your live stream or the end of your recorded webinar, as an example, do you have a way for people to contact you? Are you approachable? Are you accessible? Because all of these things really matter. And I think a lot of people are surprised when they interact with my brand, because I do send a lot of my own emails. And I also, and this is not because I don't have a team, because I do have a team, but we do different things. And also I resource my team in a way that I refer to them for specific tasks where I know I need maximum support, right? So when I look at my brand experience, a lot of people will say, well, I'm really surprised. Like they'll ask me for a meeting, and I'll shoot over a link, and in they book their meeting, right? In they book with that meeting, literally within seconds, they're able to book that meeting in. And some people have said over the years, not necessarily in 2024, but certainly over the years, wow, V, like this is really slick. Now, for me, I've been doing that since I started my business. But there are a lot of businesses who, as a brand experience, you have to DM them for an appointment, or you've got to back and forth on emails to try and get the date. To get a cost from someone or to get a quote, you're getting an email rather than a professional invoice. All of these things are relevant to your marketing and your systems and your processes and your brand experience. So please do give some thought to that. And I could go on about that so much more, but I won't, because I know that most of you are here for tips around the marketing. So when we look at making money from your brand, that's when the marketing comes in. And as I said at the start of this live, there's so many ways to make money from your brand. You could know a lot about your particular area of expertise and write a book. You could write a lot about your area of expertise and do a webinar, just like I'm doing now, and sell tickets to your webinar. You know, this week, last week just gone, I was speaking to someone that I have a high respect for, very big brand they have. And they were saying, oh, V, I've got this particular launch that I'm doing. And, you know, I don't really know how to do a launch online, but I'm going to try it. And, you know, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And I said, you know what? Have you considered doing an upsell? You're doing this free launch. Have you considered, you've got this brilliant guest speaker coming to your launch. Have you considered doing a VIP ticket for your launch? And the individual said, no. What would that look like? And I said, well, all you do is you have a VIP segment in the webinar where everybody that hasn't paid leaves. So at the end of the webinar, they leave. And then you open up, if you're doing it on Zoom or a particular meeting platform, you open up a private workspace or a private area on that launch, and you allow people to have a VIP chat in a small, intimate group with your guest speaker. And she said, oh, I didn't think of that. How would that work? And I literally went through the steps for her to do that. And she's gone off with that idea. Now, sometimes it's because we're not thinking about making money and monetizing, is why we might do what I would call the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is okay if you're not particularly fussed about making money. But what I would say to you is, if you want to make money, you have to think about what you want your brand to be known for. You have to think about how you could monetize your brand. So I've given a book and a webinar as examples, but actually there are many different ways that you can monetize your brand. And in my particular journey, I'll tell you now, I didn't start off being a coach and a consultant. I was doing consulting for years. I was working on festivals and all kinds of stuff before I officially started my business. I even did a little bit of freelance work before I officially started Insight to Marketing, where I was coaching and consulting on some quite big and well-known campaigns. But my journey as a coaching consultant didn't start just like that. I was doing training courses. I don't know how many of you knew this. I started off doing training. And from the training courses, people were like, V, I need you to coach me on this. I need someone to one time on this. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start coaching. And I started coaching. And fair play to me, you know, it's a bit like a bit like a just suck and see, you know, if I like it, I'll carry on. I had no idea about pricing. I had no idea about lead generation. I literally just dived in and went straight onto training courses. And because I was able to sell tickets for my training courses, I just continued from there. But luckily for me, since then, as you can see on screen, I've been able to build my brand. I've been able to do coaching and consulting. I've been able to run my agency. I've set up a successful branding and marketing agency. As I said, this year we won an award, the first award we've won as a collective. And I'm really proud of that because we've come a long way from just me one being on my own as a mother of four. And, you know, it is a journey. And I do really want to encourage any of you that are watching today. And thank you for the applause there. I did spot that. Thank you. I have been doing this now for a little while, and I will say to anyone who's just starting out, or any of you that are feeling a little bit disheartened or flat, you know, from doing all the things and not seeing the results, it does take time. I can think of a number of people who only this year have really started making money, and these are brands that when you see them, you would have no idea. And let me be clear, success is based on your terms. So if more money to you looks like £100 a month, that's you. It's you. You're the boss of your business. If more money to you looks like 10,000 a month, that is you. You are the boss of your business. If more goals or success to you looks like getting up at 5 a.m. or launching your website before the end of the year, it's you. You are the boss of your business, and there should be nobody telling you how to build your brand. There should be nobody telling you how much you should be making in your business. And if there are, quite frankly, I'd be questioning why you even got them around you, because for you to build a business this year, you are going to need to have your wits about you. You are certainly going to need to have clarity on what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I asked earlier on how many of you are attracting and retaining customers. For me, this is a big deal because actually it's much cheaper. And I'm going to use the word cheaper. It's more cost effective for us to actually retain customers and clients than it is to keep on going out and spending time posting and repurposing. It's cheaper for us to retain customers. And I'm quite fortunate to say that 720 plus reviews online, and also, you know, customers that come back. I've got a lot of loyal customers. You can see it even in the reviews. They say I've been working with V now on and off for the last few years. We have a lot of customers on our books that come back when they need us for big projects or campaigns that they need us to support them with. And I'll be honest with you, the ones that come back are usually the ones that will then spend more because they understand the value that you bring already to the table. Yeah. So whether you've got a photography package or whether you've got a wellness package or whether you're doing massage therapy or hair care, skin care, cloth making, interior design, jewelry design, it doesn't matter. There is a way that you can attract and retain clients. And what's important is that you've got a system to do that. Right. So you need to be thinking about before you make the sale, when you've made the sale, at the time of making the sale, and also post-sale. What is your brand experience going to be? You see how it all connects? Yeah. What is the brand experience you're giving to people? Because if they get a positive experience when they sign up or when they inquire, you've already got brownie points, right? I couldn't tell you the amount of people that have come to me and said, "Oh my gosh, V, I emailed so and so and they took months to get back to me," or "I emailed so and so and they didn't even respond to my email at all." You ever heard that? A few of you saying yes. It isn't uncommon because some of us don't really understand the power of things like automation and also the power of having a system in place for like onboarding. If someone orders something from you, how quick do you take to give them back an email in terms of business working days? Is there a particular response time that you've set for yourself? Because customer care is absolutely everything. And the customer experience is linked to the brand experience. So if you give a positive customer experience, what do you think happens? That person goes and tells at least another 10 people. And that's one way that you can market your business without even spending any money. Yeah. So don't discount the fact that if you give a positive brand experience and you do this right, and your marketing is on point and your tone of voice is authentically you and you're showing up as you can get really good results. And ultimately, your marketing should be aiming to generate lots and lots and lots and lots of leads. Now, I'm old school. I'm not a textbook marketer, but I am old school. And I will say to you that to manage your expectations, if you're new at branding or marketing, what you may not know is after a while, your customers dry up. Yes, they do. After a while, the life cycle of your customer might expire. And if you don't know this already, it's definitely something you might want to investigate. So you may have customers that have been on your books for years. And in my case, they stay for years, they may come back. They stay for years, they may do a one-to-one service. They stay for a few weeks, they may do a one-to-one service. It's entirely up to them. But I understand that not all customers that work with me, certainly not everybody that buys a planner, is going to go anywhere else once they've got the planner, because this might be all they need. Right? So you have to understand for your products and services, what is the life cycle of those products and services? When people are buying from you, how long does it take them to make the sale? When people are buying from you, why are they buying? And when they've bought that product, is there an upsell? What could they do next? What services might you offer them next? Because all of these things are relevant to your marketing. So in trying to attract and build a community or generate leads, or what I would like to say as attracting inquiries, they may not always make sales. It's not always about conversion. Sometimes you have someone in your list. Sometimes you have someone watching your videos and they don't buy from you, but they recommend you to a whole lot of people. Yeah. So when you're attracting inquiries, there are a number of ways you can do this. And I want you to make a note of some of these or screenshot these if you find it helpful. A website or landing page, many of you don't have that. So having a landing page is a way for you to capture data. You get people to opt in. You ask people to opt in. And when they opt in, that is basically your list. That's when your list starts building. And again, if you get them to opt into a particular list, if you're asking them to sign up to a particular type of tips or a particular a bit of information, tag the list, name the list so that you know that anytime you mail that list, they've come from that page or that landing page. So then you keep your marketing neat. If that made sense, just give me a thumbs up. You keep your marketing neat. Fantastic. You keep your marketing neat by making sure that when you are marketing, it is targeted at the people that signed up for that thing. It's relevant to the people that actually asked about that thing. Because there's nothing worse than having a big mailing list and just blanket mailing everybody with the same information. People won't open because of that. There's also ebooks and giveaways that you can do. I'm not going to go into any of these in any detail now, but there are ebooks and giveaways that you can do. And there are also different ways in which you can use e-marketing and feedback forms and webinars like this one, which will most certainly help you to build a list. The same with loyalty cards. Yeah. If you do loyalty cards, something as simple as a loyalty card, you can actually say to people, right, because you bought this product, I'm going to give you a stamp here. Collect 3 stamps, you get 20% off your next purchase. Or because you purchased this particular package from me for a massage, you know, collect 6 stamps here and your 7th massage will be free. They may have never even considered doing more than one massage with you, but the incentive is there, isn't it? You've put that thought in their mind that actually, if I sign up or if I get this stamp, I could actually get a massage free by the 7th visit. And that's an incentive. Yeah. So there's lots of quick wins in which you can generate leads. And I think one of the most popular ones that a lot of people know about already is where, people will say to you, do a landing page or do a giveaway. Giveaways and competitions are always going to help you to get leads. Giveaways and competitions are like the best way for me when I recommend to clients, because they don't take long to devise. And as long as you've got the right T's and C's and legally you're covered in terms of having a little statement about not being affiliated with Meta or Instagram, and it being a no exchange of prizes, etc., and all that small print, as long as that's there, you can go live with a giveaway tomorrow. Nothing's stopping you. And by doing a giveaway, especially if it's for a product or service that's relevant to what you are trying to sell now in January, as an example, depending on when you watch this particular video, what you'll find is that you actually start to build lists quickly. If you do it for like 2+ weeks, the giveaway, as an example, whatever product you've got going on now, whatever service you've got going on now, if you do a giveaway tomorrow or next weekend, and that giveaway lasts for 4 weeks or even 2.5 weeks, if you promote it properly and that's all you focus on, you will absolutely generate a list very quickly. And if part of that competition or giveaway includes people signing up to your email address, well, no guessing there. You've already built an email list as well. Is the mathing? Let me know if the maths is mathing. Excellent. So some of you might have seen I did a competition for this. I did a competition giveaway for my planner. And actually, I'll be honest, it was just for visibility, because at my page, we weren't really posting on my page. I say I was not really posting on my brand and marketing planner page for transparency, right? And so I decided, let me just do a giveaway. So I did a giveaway, and we had over 78 entries, which for me is actually quite low, but 78 people that I know already now need help with marketing planning. Do you see? And 78 people who I've been able to message or go to and say, look, if you wanted help with marketing planning, here's a YouTube video. If you wanted help with marketing planning, here's some content ideas for January. If you wanted help with branding or marketing because you wanted to get a free copy of the marketing planner, here are some planning tips. And then they still get value, right? So think about that for list building and also your leads. All right, I'm going to share with you as we wrap up a few trends that you need to be aware of, okay? And this is really, really important. And I'll summarize the kind of marketing planning stuff. But for me, this is the critical stuff, this and the AI slide. There are lots of different things that you're going to see as shiny objects that are going to appear. Some of them you may already be familiar with, yeah? So whether you're using threads or whether you're starting a podcast or whether you've been encouraged by TikTok to do a TikTok shop, or whether you're starting to use AI, or maybe you just want to build a community. There are lots of different things that you could choose to focus on this year. And actually, if you're smart, you will not try and do it all at once. Some of it, there'll be some overlap, but I do not advise you to try and do all of this at once. Okay, I want you to let me know in the chat, if you were going to pick one of these things, what would one of these things be from this particular list? If you were going to look at one of these trends, what would you choose? Let me know via the chat. If you were going to choose one, someone says podcast. Fantastic. Someone says podcasting first, then community. Someone else says podcast. Wow. What about the rest of you? Let's see. Anyone on threads? Okay, someone says threads. Okay, cool. Community building. Okay, excellent. So if you didn't have a target or a goal at the start of this particular session, there's one of your targets. And you could choose to do that between January to March. It doesn't have to be now. Yeah? It doesn't have to be now. So these are some trends to be aware of. And actually there are, okay, someone says already on threads. Okay, fab. And I must say, threads is like Twitter to me, but I use it just to be chatty and support other people rather than promoting, although I have been promoting quite a lot of different things over there recently. But I would definitely say try new things. be aware of trends, but just try to manage your own expectations, because the more and more you take on, just like the more and more you consume, is the bigger of a hole you're going to dig for yourself in terms of having to actually understand all of the new things, how to use them, also how to get outcomes from them that you're looking for. So when you're doing things like storytelling, again on screen, I've just put a few tools you might use. And I'll share with you two of the AI tools that I would definitely recommend that are here. And I can see some of you taking pictures, so that's fantastic. Two AI tools I would definitely recommend. Someone says these trends are like fast fashion. Absolutely, they are. And they're forever changing. Honestly, they're forever changing. Two of the tools I would say are really good for storytelling where AI is concerned, and this does depend on whether or not you've got the AI version or the pro version or not, is CapCut, which has got an auto cut feature on it. So CapCut, I'm just going to put it in the chat. CapCut has got an auto cut feature on it. So if you expand the menu when you log in, CapCut auto cut feature, which sits within CapCut, allows you to actually just upload a few images or even a few videos. And when you go to auto cut, it gives you all the transitions and all the templates. It makes it for you. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The other thing that you can use, which is really good for storytelling as well, if you want to do it quickly and save time when you're doing your marketing, is Canva. On the Canva Pro version, I'm not sure if it's in the standard version because we use Pro for our clients, but there is a tool within Canva which is called Canva Media Maker. Sorry, Canva Magic Media. And some of you would have noticed that if you go to Magic Media or you search Magic Media in the Canva search bar, you can actually type in and tell Canva, like, for the festive season, myself and my children, we were considering making a particular product. We could have done it. I just didn't want to exhaust myself with anything else to be doing over the festive holidays, and we started doing it using AI, right? And it was so easy, right? It was absolutely easy. Oh, I tell you what we were doing, because it's gone now, and it doesn't matter. I'm not going to gatekeep. We were looking at how we could actually create mugs with a brown skinned Santa Claus sat behind reindeer, yeah, on his sleigh, and it made me the pictures. We could have had cups on the go. It made some amazing pictures. And the thing is, you get credits. So depending, I'm not going to go on about it too much, but if you have Canva Magic Media, it's an AI tool that if you're going to use it, obviously you've got to check if there's any kind of commercial or legal aspects to be mindful of. Please make sure you do your checks, right? But if you're doing something, also even in CapCut, I should mention as well, you can also create AI music. Yes, AI music. So if you're fed up of searching for trending audio, or you are fed up of finding audio and then having it removed, or finding audio and it doesn't even match what you're trying to portray, try CapCut, because there's an audio button, which is like a music note, and you can go to that and you can make your own audio. Yes, you can. Jazz, classical, calypso, rock, and you can tell it exactly how you want it to sound. It's absolutely amazing. So when you're doing your marketing, these are some ideas that you can use, very quick ideas. Let me know if you found any of those helpful. And if you might go away and try any, let me know via the chat. So these are tools that you can use. AutoCut on CapCut, Canva, Magic Media, and also as well CapCut with the audio sound as well. You can create lots of audio sounds, and there is a whole list there of different tools you could use, from Pexels Video right through to InShot, and also even using basic stuff like playlists to create series of videos or series of images, and as many of you will know, carousel posts too, that will definitely help you to build your brand story and share things like reviews, why you started your business, a day in the office, a challenging moment. All of these things are going to be helpful for you in terms of saving you time, but also getting things out quickly. And actually, I'll be really honest again, if you've got Canva Bulk Create, right? Canva Bulk Create, again, that's another app. You can search for it in Canva. This is why I talk about Canva all the time, because I just think it's amazing. Canva Bulk Create will allow you to create and upload lots of different posts that look identical. So if you want to create a template for quotes, 30 quotes for the month, you literally just save a CSV file, which is like a Google spreadsheet. CSV file, you've got to save it as a CSV file. Save as CSV, Charlie, Sierra, Victor. You save that file. There's a certain way you can do it. Canva's got a whole help section on it. Bulk Create. If you're in my coaching community, we have a whole video on that where I take you through how to do it. But bulk create will allow you to create lots of different things quickly, whether it's templates, whether it's quotes, whether it's tips. You can do literally bulk, and you can do way more than 30. Okay. All right, another quick slide for you. I like to give value in my sessions. Another quick slide for you. Some more sites and tools you might want to check out. So freesounds.org, for those of you that are going to be using marketing and videos, freesounds.org has got lots of free sound effects. Lots of free sound effects that you can use. Mixkit.co has also got sound effects, but also has some templates and videos you can use. We're going to start using some of those for one of our new clients that we've just taken on that's got an international event. Unsplash as well, absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for images of, let's say, brown and black people, Nappy is definitely one that I recommend. I've been recommending them for years, and there are probably others since, but I do still go to Nappy. Although I will say Canva has got a lot more now, a lot more images where people that are perhaps from the global majority, they are there, and we're showing up now in different spaces online in terms of photography and video images. So there's a whole stock and image library on Canva now where you can see black and brown people and people from diverse backgrounds also, and inclusive, I would say, photography and media that is now on Canva. So definitely go and check that out. And then the last two there that I want to mention to you are for scheduling. Later.com, Meta for Business, and Buffer.com. I don't use Buffer anymore. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. Please make sure you check these out. I'm not endorsing any of these products. I'm just recommending you look at them. But definitely look at these products because they will help you. And I personally, we use Later.com and Meta for Business Suite, which is scheduling tools. So I would definitely recommend you check out those scheduling tools if you're not already, because they will help you. All right, now we are not going to go over time by more than about 3 or 4 minutes. So I just want to wrap up by saying, if you have not thought about the ways in which you can use tactics in your marketing, as I said at the start, we do not want to be doing just social media in 2025. We can't afford to, right? So think about online and offline marketing and think about tactics that you can use. What tactics would you use other than social media? Leaflets, posters, word of mouth, discount cards, events, PR, paid media advertising, even paid advertising on social media, webinars. There are lots of different tactics you can use, but what I don't want you to do is just rely on social media, especially if in 2024 you didn't really see the results you wanted. That's not going to be a good look to repeat the same cycle. If you didn't see the results you wanted, particularly when it comes to marketing, this is for all aspects of personal and business life. If you don't see the results you want, it's okay to change. It's okay to make change. It's not a bad thing. You shouldn't feel bad about changing direction or changing your business or changing your tactic or changing the route that you were going. If you feel strongly about it, change it. And I hope that most of you that have made time to watch this particular session are going to make changes as a result, or certainly look at how you can review your branding and marketing to get better results. Because there are ways in which you can actually improve your tactics. And actually, one way, or one of many ways, to look at, maintaining your momentum and, making sure that you have got bigger goals is by constantly changing your goalpost. So once you've achieved the goal, what some of you may already be doing is, once you've achieved, £100 a month, if that's your goal, you might then decide you want to go to 500. And when you get to 500, you might then decide you want to do 1,000. So if you change your goals, that's also okay. Once you've reached a certain milestone or you've reached a certain marker, there's nothing wrong with you changing. Okay. So there's a quote here from Michael Corder. One way to keep momentum going is to have constantly greater goals. Now, some of you may not agree with that. That's fine. But for me personally, I know that when I've done one thing, I then want to see the next thing, because the only person I'm competing with is myself. Yeah. If I do something great last month, I'm going to try and excel on that the following month. And actually, just to say, if I don't excel on it the following month or it doesn't work, I also respect that that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. There's usually going to be a reason as well. Most of us are using print, social media, video, email. Most of us are using those tactics, but there are a whole load more. And in 2025, I really want you to think about what goes into your marketing plan beyond social media and content marketing, because a lot of you have become consumed in that, quite literally. You just focus on social media and video. And actually, for some of you, you'd actually do much better if you were just offline. Maybe online isn't for you. Maybe going out and networking at events might be a better solution for you. Maybe advertising outdoors, or looking at brochures, or producing, printed leaflets, or attending events and expos is going to be a better solution for you. These are the kinds of things you want to be considering for your marketing plan. And you can see on screen now, I've just referred to the importance of integrating offline, because I know a lot of you don't do that. And in 2025, I really want to encourage you to do that. Think about how you can use offline marketing to complement what you're doing online already. And of course, integrate your email and socials. I know a lot of you aren't using email yet. But I do want to really encourage you to do that as well, because the way in which you can integrate your email marketing and social media is powerful. And if you haven't explored that yet, you absolutely can get results doing that. We spoke earlier about a landing page. We spoke earlier about signups and getting opt-ins and permissions. You can do that at events. You can do that via giveaways. And once you've got that list, you own that list. So when Instagram or Facebook might go down, it doesn't matter, because you've still got an email list. Or if someone comes in and wipes away your Instagram account, you've still got your email list. So start building lists, or at least have a database or a customer relationship management tool that you can use, that you can kind of piggyback off of as and when you need to promote and share and include that as part of your marketing. Okay, now I want to get to the juicy part, which was on the AI. I spoke a little bit about the tools you can use around visibility without the overwhelm. I mentioned those to you, so hopefully you picked that up. I didn't share the slide with you, but I will share it. The slide that I wanted to share before sharing those three tools was later.com, buffer.com, and of course, Meta for Business, also known as Business Suite, which is where you can integrate scheduling for Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. And later.com allows you to schedule on threads and all sorts. So if you want to really get smart with your marketing, I would definitely recommend automation. That is how you can get visibility without the overwhelm, is by automating and getting really clear on what you're doing in terms of your marketing and how you're using your time. Right? Because once you know how you're using your time, that's where you can look at how to save time. All right, the final slide that I'm sure many of you wanted to get information in is around AI tools. And I'm going to be very transparent with you. I've only used a handful of these, but if you're in my coaching community, I'll be sharing with you how we can use more of these to get better results and be more productive when it comes to marketing. So Revoicer is a text-to-speech AI tool. Now, I have seen this in operation, but I haven't yet used it, right? It's very, very good. It will allow you to literally type something, and then you have a voice that literally reads it out, either in your voice or someone else's, and you can preset it. So if you've done a blog and you want it to be like an audio version, check out the Revoicer app. ChatGPT, as I mentioned earlier, is great for inspiration, getting ideas. You can use it for a whole load of things, actually, but I won't bore you with all of that now. And how about if you want to know about gaps in the market, or you want to understand more about what's happening in terms of trends, go for something like Market Muse or Phrase. These are AI tools you can use to find out what's going on in terms of the wellness industry, in terms of design, in terms of interior styling, in terms of fashion. There are lots of ways in which you can actually find out more using these AI tools. And actually relevant to that one is Summarize Bot. So Summarize Bot will actually allow you to download reports. Have you ever seen like a 60-page or 80-page report, and then you think, I'm not reading that. You think, I don't want to read that. Summarize Bot can summarize it for you. It can take out all of the key points, which you can then double check are correct. Yes, I said Phrase, F-R-A-S-E. Yeah, F-R-A-S-E, a bit like Fraser. So Summarize Bot will allow you to actually summarize a report really quickly. And actually, there are loads of other tools that do this, but I'm just mentioning this one here. And if you've ever, let me just get my plug in as we wrap up. If you've ever done coaching with me, you will know that many years ago, I was talking about this one here, Feedly and BuzzSumo. Both of those are brilliant. Feedly and BuzzSumo. So if you have never used Feedly, And there's also other ones as well that I used to talk about, which are still around. But Feedly is great. It basically allows you to research lots of different ideas at the click of a button. And you can set it up, you can preset it with things that you want notifications on. You used to be able to do that on Google Alerts. I'm not sure if you can still do it now. So those are some AI tools. And as I said, if you're in my coaching community, and I've mentioned already Canva, the Canva tools there that are there. If you're in my coaching community, of course, you will get that information, and we'll be doing some training on how to use every single one of those. And I'll be showing you how I use it as well. But what I want you to remember is when you're doing your marketing planning, yes, you can use Gemini. You can use Gemini. There's quite a few. Claude as well. There's a whole load of them. If I'm really honest with you, there's so many. I just try to stick to one that does one thing, and then have others that specialize in other things. So that's what I've done here. Just summarize those here. So thank you. But great feedback. I really appreciate that. You can also use Gemini as well, and Claude. And someone says they use Metricool, 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 and that's for scheduling social media and website blogs. Excellent. So sharing is caring. Fantastic. And someone also shared that with Buffer, you get on the free version, you get 10 schedules. Yes. So usually what you'll find is if you're on a free version of any of the apps I've mentioned today, which I'm suggesting you check out. I'm not endorsing any of them. Check them out. If you're on a free version, what you'll find is that you can actually get the basics. And if you have a pro version, there'll be more functionality. And that's typical with most things. The same as if you have a desktop version of an app versus the actual app. Sometimes you'll have limited features available on depending on which ones you use. So that was a whistle stop tour, and I'm going to go back and make sure I covered everything off. And I hope you found it very helpful in terms of different things that you can use. But remember, right, that when you are building your business and when you are promoting your brand and when you're doing your marketing, the key things to consider when you're doing your tactics is who are your customers, or who are your potential customers? Why would they buy? And then you need to make sure that your plan looks at the timings when you're going to be communicating with them, the tactics in which you're going to be, trying to attract them, but also your messaging. Your messaging is really important. You have to speak their language, and you must work with deadlines and goals. It's so important, because I know a lot of you don't do this, and this could be one of the reasons why we don't actually get the outcomes that we want. So I'm going to wrap up and say that success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep on moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. Now, I'm just going to add as a disclaimer here, it is okay to quit. It is okay to say, you know what, this is not working. I'm going to pause here. And it's also okay to pause if you feel overwhelmed, which can happen with marketing. Sometimes that might look like you needing to outsource. Sometimes that might need you to rethink what you're doing, or even just revisit your plan. So it is okay to quit. You will learn lessons, aka make mistakes. But what's important is that you are working at a pace that suits you, and that you're always being mindful of why you're doing what you're doing. So you're working with purpose and you're working with clarity. A lot of us in 2025, unfortunately, are going to repeat the cycle of what we did in 2024, even though we didn't get the results we wanted. And that is crazy work. A lot of us are going to repeat the same cycles that we did in 2024, expecting a different outcome. And that doesn't make any sense. So if you've spent time today watching this session, I would love, as we finish now, for you to let me know what, if anything, you're going to go away and do differently. What, if anything, you're going to think about actioning. I'm going to remind you again that the planner is here. For those of you that would like a link to the planner, I've got a special discount on today only. So you are welcome to purchase this at a discount. I will send you the link. You can benefit from that today. And of course, I did say this is not about me selling to you. So I'll make sure that everybody that registered for this, because some people haven't actually shown up at all, that's fine. They will get a copy of this particular video, which is great, because it means you can replay it. But the key thing is that if you are not already doing marketing in the way that I've suggested today, where you're looking at your audience, you're looking at your tactics, you're looking at your budget, you're thinking about, what to do first, you've reviewed what you've done so far. These are the kinds of things that you want to be making sure you've got set up before you start doing any marketing this year. Because the offers are great. Sometimes the offers are really easy to come up with. But what's going to be key is making sure that you are mindful of the results you're getting and how they're actually coming through. Because no results basically means something isn't working. All right. So I am going to pause my share so you can see my email there. And I hope you found the presentation useful. I hope you've been able to pick up some nuggets. It wasn't your typical marketing planning, because I think most of you are bored of hearing me talking about what goes into a marketing plan. And for those of you that were here to find out about what goes into a marketing plan, what I will share with you is that if you want to find out what goes into a marketing plan, I do have a Thursday lunch and learn, which you can watch right now. It's on YouTube. You can watch it right now on YouTube. It's under the Lunch and Learn playlists. Okay, it's under the Lunch and Learn playlist. And there are lots of different Lunch and Learns. There around content marketing. There's a Lunch and Learn around PR. There are different Lunch and Learns. So please do go and check that out if you're wanting to know more about branding and marketing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, I'll be around on social media if you do have any feedback or comments, etc. Someone says, thank you, V, very good tips and tools. Thank you for your time and knowledge. No problem at all. I've really enjoyed today. I've actually got a special event that I'm off to today. No, this isn't what I'm going to be wearing, but I've got a special event I'm going to be going off to this afternoon. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make sure I show up for you lovely people and do this particular webinar so that if you are stuck and you have any questions afterwards, you're able to come back at any time and ask me questions. If you watch this via YouTube, you can put a comment in the YouTube. I'll make sure that you have the response within a reasonable time. Someone says, thanks so much. Morning well spent. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And for those of you that haven't yet commented, please do let me know if you got value and time well spent. I don't know. Some of you might have thought it was a waste of time. You're more than welcome to share that with me as well. I do take all feedback on board. But have a fantastic Sunday. And here's to your success in 2025. I really do hope that each and every one of you are going to have a fantastic year where you're thinking through what you're doing before you launch into something. All right. Someone says very useful nuggets, really useful. This was so valuable, V. Thank you. Thanks again. All right. I'm going to shut up now. If you've got any questions, I'm actually going to stop my live recording. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to stay on and ask those questions. All right. And